So I want to really thank the court for them seeing reason why the gas plant should not be there in a densely populated area.
Yes, you heard it. A gas plant was almost built in the middle of a residential area in Rumuigbo, Port Harcourt, River State, until one man took the matter to court. As you heard there, he won the case. And it's left me asking a lot of questions. Can citizens really stop big companies from putting lives at risk? Can we really help hold businesses accountable? I mean, in River State, there are so many businesses, going within the boundaries of what the law allows. And a lot of people just express the concern while driving by and then do nothing. But what's your own? When businesses ignore safety, what part do you play? Are you a bystander in the matter or a defender? Welcome to Talking Figures. It's 92.3 Nigeria Info. On the 2 o'clock hour, we talk business. We look at everything, numbers, the money, and how it affects you. And today will be no different. My name is Chioma Ezinwafo, and I'll be your host. And we're unpacking it all today. More importantly, for you to understand what this means for you. What is this? The court issue that was taken to court. I've brought in the man that took the company to court. He's in the studio with me, and his lawyer is here as well. And you'll get to meet them in a bit. But I need you to know that we're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. And you can drop messages there. What are your thoughts generally? When you see businesses crossing the line, going beyond the boundaries of what the law allows them to do, what do? Are you a bystander or are you a defender? How do we hold businesses accountable? And what's the general implication of this in the grand scheme of things? Yes, you can share your thoughts with me. For now, you can send it on WhatsApp, 0809 030 6416 is a WhatsApp number. We'll get to open the phone lines at some point. Just drop your messages on WhatsApp for now. And of course, like I said, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. And you can drop your messages there as well. And also, you can drop your messages on X. We're on X, yes, at Nigeria Info PH. You can drop your messages there. Now, let's meet our guest. He's a professor. He's a professor of pharmacology and toxicology. And now, on the show, he's appearing as the lead plaintiff in this case, which are called the Rumuigbo Gas Plant Case. He's here in the studio with me and he's happy to have you, Prof.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I also have his lawyer, who we've known for quite some time. Like I told him just as we walked into the studio that I didn't know he was one on that case, even though we're covering it. Barrister Angus Chukwuka is no new name in the world of business and all the laws around it. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Choma.
Okay. Yeah, so let's unpack it all and let's understand what this means for you. So the next time you see a situation that could breach your own rights or see you concerned about your safety, your own business, what do? How did he do it? How long did it take? What does it take? How much did it cost you? Yes, we're going to unpack all of that. And on Talking Figures, of course, we talk figures. So thank you for coming in.
Yes, thank you so much.
So now, there's something we do on the show. We have some sort of a tradition on Talking Figures where we look at the top 3 stories in the world of business. There are 2 segments on Talking Figures. The very first one is Market Watch, and the second one is Insider Tips. So on Market Watch, we look at the top 3 stories in the world of business. So literally, we go to all the markets, area market, the capital market, the stock market, the Maya market, all the markets. We can just pick the top 3 stories in the world of business and you let me know what you think about it. It's a business show. And so when we're done with that, then we get into the main segment, which I call Insider Tips. which is what we're looking at, where we're looking at the situation of the gas plant suit, the lessons we can draw from it. Even if you're a business owner, I think it's important you draw close, because there's something called EIA. And do you understand how that operates for your business? Do you understand what you should do depending on the nature of your business? But it's important that we have this information and we get proper advice to not be in a situation where you have to, an investment you've made, you to have to be halted in this manner. All right, gentlemen, are you ready for Market Watch?
Yes.
All right, let's do this. Okay, the very first story here has to do with the real estate budget.
That is necessary. Because the artisans, they are groups of people that have one trade or the other. And if not regulated, to control them will be very, very difficult. So the cause or the advocacy of having an agency that regulates the activities is very, very necessary. Because the charges, the charges that these people charge, you find out that it's not across the board or the yardstick that they used to charge.
There's no measuring cup.
Yes.
It's just based on, like the mechanics can just charge you, tell you, give me service fee, they'll call an amount.
Yes.
Same with the mechanic generators,
Yes.
generator mechanics.
So they just charge you anyhow without any yardstick.
Yeah.
So having an agency in place will be very, very quite, welcome.
Yes. Okay, and that's it on Markets Watch. It's time for Insider Tips, where we're looking at the gas plant suit. If you follow the news, you know that there's been a judgment that's come out that affected a gas plant that was supposed to be set up in a residential area. And a professor of toxicology felt so concerned and he went to court and he won. And he's in the studio today with his lawyer to help us understand how that all went. But for me, I'm more interested in what it means for you, because it means something for the business community. It means something for you who you also, get to do business. You're part of the business community if you have to buy and sell, right? So let's unpack all of that after this break. When we return, yes, we'll look at all of that. But for now, let's go on this break. And you can drop your messages on WhatsApp. You can drop them on, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. You can drop your messages there. And so when we return, we unpack all of that. We'd like to know what you think about it. And more importantly, what do you do when businesses do very unsafe things? Do you stand by and watch, or let me use the word defend or fight it to stop it? Let's find out after the break. We're talking figures, and today we're looking at the Rumuigbo Gas Plant case that was just ruled on Monday. Yeah, on Monday. We saw something quite unusual happen in Port Harcourt. A man went to court to challenge the siting of a gas plant in a residential area in Rumuigbo, and he won the case. And the court has said, the company is not allowed to set up the gas plant on Owoloma Street in Rumuigbo. And more importantly, the court also awarded 20 million naira in damages. What are the lessons to learn from all of this? What would you do differently the next time you see that a business is ignoring safety? What part would you play? A bystander or defender? What would you do if a gas plant was approved on your street? Pray that nothing goes wrong, or ensure that it's set in the proper place. Yes, it's Talking Figures on 92.3 Nigeria Info. My guests are here. Yes, the man himself that took the company to court is in the studio, Professor Legbosi Nwidu.
Yes.
Thank you for making time to be on the show with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming in. And let's unpack this. Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes, if you're listening right now, we'll get to hear from you at some point. And for now, we're live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. And I would like you to be part of that conversation. Go drop your thoughts drop your thoughts. I would like to know. I'm going to read them at some point, okay? And WhatsApp, yes, you can drop your thoughts on WhatsApp as well. 0809-030-6416. That's the WhatsApp number. Do not call the number. Just send a message. 0809-030-6416. This is the WhatsApp number. We'd love to read your messages, and we'll be live in a bit. We'll be opening the phone lines in a bit. But for now, let's unpack this. Starting with Professor Legbosi Nwidu, the professor of pharmacology and toxicology. Could be his background that convinced him to go after this thing. Let's find out. Prof, how did you first hear about the gas plant?
Well, this gas plant is sited close to my boundary, so my boundary neighbor. On 2019, I observed that this my neighbor, who also happened to be my brother, has a hotel that he has erected up to a lintel level, and suddenly pulled down all the hotels, destroyed all of them, leveled them down. The next thing I was to see was that he brought a gas tank and just dropped within the place. So I asked him, what are you going to do? He said he has approvals from all the agencies of government to establish a gas tank. Then I told him, my brother, this thing that you have done, you'll have discussed it with me and see whether I will accept it or not. You know, I have my family and I have businesses that are within the environment. And this thing you're about to set up is very, very dangerous. So he told me that he's there, he's staying there, he has his own family, he has his house there. So I should follow him to take the risk. So I now told him that at this point, even though you're my brother, I will not be able to take this risk with you. You are aware of all the gas plant has done. And at that point, I told him, I know, and I also heard about atomic scientists. There are very few of them. We have one in Nigeria that was killed in Ibadan, just entering a barbing salon that is close to a gas plant. He died and was roasted to ashes. So now you know I have a pharmacy, I have a hospital, and also have a med lab. And customers comes into these places. If anything goes wrong, how many people do you think that is going to die? He said, no, I should take the risk with him, that he's also living in the environment. So I wrote to all the agencies of government. I wrote to the ministry that have oversight. I wrote to the River State government. In fact, I and my family were facing existential problems, existential challenges, because we are not getting help. Any of the agencies that will come, the first day they come to site, they will talk against the gas plant. They say, okay, they are coming after 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks, when they come, their tone changes, which shows that they were compromised. So at that point, I was so helpless. And I now have to approach my lawyer. And we have to take the matter to court.
Okay.
Because even at that point, when Petroleum, they came, and when they came for this plot of land, it's not up to the size that she has a gas plant.
Okay.
So at that point, that they revoked the license, and they gave me the copy of the letter of revocation. Then they also told me that the man has reapplied. So I was so much afraid. I said, you are revoking, and you allow the man to bring another application, then there must be something going on. So I now decided to go to court. And graciously, the court, we have been in court since 2021. You understand? The court graciously looked at it and declared that I have a right to safe environment. And that alone, that I have a right. Having taught toxicology for over 15, 20 years now in the university, I know the impact of toxicants that are released into the environment. I know also the impact of hazard associated with gas and associated gas businesses. So I didn't mind throwing all I have to make sure that I fought it. And by the grace of God, God stood by me, stood by my lawyer, and we obtained justice.
Okay, now let's look at the environmental impact assessment that should be done before such a facility is set up. What do you know about that when it comes to this particular one?
Yes, when it comes to environmental impact assessment, one of the most important ingredient in that assessment is that you have to do what we call scoping. You have to meet all the neighbors, all those people that are going to be impacted by that project. You have to seek their opinion. You have to call them for a meeting. And it is only when they consent, you understand, they consent to that project, then that has to be part of the report. But this particular one that was done, my neighbor did not approach me even one day. Only what he told me that he has gotten all approval. And I asked him, all the people that gave you approval, will they live by the side of this project? Will they also take the hazards? Will they take the effluent and the toxicant that will come out of that place? Because when you are filling gas cylinder, there are gases that are released into the environment. The trucks also that are bringing the gas, when they are filling the tanks, some of the gas, those gases are released, contain methane and many other things are released into the environment. Then those people that approve it for you, are they there to take those hazards and those toxicants into their system? So the neighbors to that project is key. And that is why that particular aspect of carrying out a scoping of the project site is necessary.
Okay. Now let's come to you now, Barrister Angus. You are the lawyer that went to take this case. You looked at it, you unbundled it, and you felt this was what's going after. Talk to us about the law that formed the basis for this case.
Okay, basically the most important law that we had to look at is the Environmental Impact Assessment Act, which provides that before you site any project within an area, you must articulate the risk, the potential risk that it will involve to the people around. And then also you need to look at the cost implications, and you need to involve the relevant agencies. And more importantly, the scoping is talked about. You need to consult the people that will be immediately impacted and hear their opinions. All right, and all of them should come after that impact assessment consultation. All right, there should be a report formally given. It's called an impact assessment report.
Okay.
And that is part of what is attached to the application before you are allowed to go on with that project. So any community that allows any company to just come in and start a business without demanding for an impact assessment report is perhaps not doing the proper thing. So that report was first, and then secondly, we looked at the Public Officers Protection Act, which is to say that when a public officer has done what is wrong, that you must take an action within 3 months of the accrual of cause of action. So, public officer in the sense of the law includes the public officer individual and the public officer corporate. For example, the Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority is a federal agency involved, so it's a public officer. And also the manager, a manager or a director in that agency is also a public officer. So where a corporate agency does what infringes on your right, the moment you discover, the moment that happens, you have 3 months to sue. Likewise, when an individual officer does the same. So we looked at it. I looked at the timelines. He had done applications. They were not listening to him. We've written letters. They are not listening to him. So we must act within this stated period of time. Otherwise, we'll try to come within an exception provided by that act. So these 2 laws were the major statutory provision we looked at outside the guidelines of DPR.
Okay.
Because DPR has a guideline. So whenever there's a project that involves siting of gas plant or petroleum exposure, you will need to, it has to fall within the guideline. So we have to also interpret the guidelines of DPR. Then we looked at the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution. These are the statutory. Then generally we have the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which was also a very important law that the judge, Honorable Justice Fubi Ayua, looked at in giving judgment to us. That act provides clearly that environmental right is a fundamental right.
Okay.
Yes.
So
interesting.
Yes. But I would like us to look at this. I mean, it's a business show, right? What's the implication of this for businesses?
Yes. Part of what we went to court for is, part of the things we brought to the attention of the court was that there were some businesses that were involved naked fire. For example, welders were working there, plantain roasters, bole, all right? And then all kinds of
open fire.
They were working there, and they were all still working. And this man is siting a gas plant there, and there was no effort to relocate these businesses to other places. You understand? So we say no. This is like surrendering yourself to be destroyed. So we said no.
Especially because there's a record of a similar situation
as we are doing this case, there were gas explosions every other day along the road everywhere, and all of them they had licenses granted by DPR.
Why is that?
So carelessness, and that is part of the questions that the court answered, that they don't have right to grant licenses without proper environmental impact assessments, and without due processes followed. It's part of the questions that, because it was filed through originating summons, and court answered and agreed with us that the method by which DPR, midstream and downstream sector, formerly DPR, used in granting license was totally insensitive and out of place. So coming to the Naira thing you're talking about, these welders, corn roasters, bole people, their business are still going. They are making their money because this gas plant is not allowed to start. If this gas plant was allowed to start, those people will lose their livelihood. There won't be any. And some of them earn as much as 20,000 a day. All right?
Okay.
50,000 a day. So that translates to food on their table. That translates to school fees for their children. That translates to payment of house rent. So they have not lost their businesses just because Professor Nwidu did the right thing, took them to court.
All right.
Stalled this, and now court has put a seal on that effort.
Okay. Prof, I'll come to you again because we'd like to understand why businesses ignore these signs and all of what, I mean, it sounds so typical. This is what should be done. Why do businesses, why would you have money to invest and you decide to ignore? I mean, for you to set up a business is a long-term thing. So why would you ignore all of the concerns and want to still go ahead? We're going to have Prof tell me his thoughts on it. But first, let's open the phone lines now, shall we? Yes, 0817-923-0002. You can also call 0817-923-0003. What are you answering? Very simple. Would you do this the next time you find that on your street a business is cutting corners or perhaps not doing what ought to be done, and your safety is affected? Would you be a bystander or would you be a defender? What would you be doing? And what do you think about this case? Do you have a similar experience? Do you have someone setting up? Because as I was about to come for this show, I understand that there are about 2 other cases of gas plants being about to be set up on their streets as well. And the concerns are there. One of them has done the legwork and nothing is coming out of it. Anyways, let me not tell the whole story. Let's just open the phone lines. Yes, 0817-923-0007 is another number that you can call. Hello, good afternoon.
Once more.
You're live. Eze.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Madam Chi.
Yes, you're live. Good afternoon. Eze Ken.
I'm calling from Ubuguni.
Okay.
Greetings to your guest.
All right. They can hear you.
Madam Chi, I don't know if you can remember that once upon a time, some persons, like your guest in the studio, we are doing the same thing to save people's life and to be a good Samaritan in the country. But because of the corrupt nature of our country that made many to shy away from the ungodly activities in the area. I don't know if you understand me.
Okay, go ahead.
So kudos to the man. When I heard it over the radio yesterday and the first day, I wonder if such persons still exist in this country. So I was very, very happy with him. And in fact, thank you very much for inviting him to the studio this day to also educate part of us who knows or who don't know what detrimental effect is concerned in our lives. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ezekiel, for your thoughts there. Now let's go to WhatsApp. I have on WhatsApp a message from Arthur Benison. He sent this in from Port Harcourt. He says, good afternoon to you and the Prof. Prof, I highly commend you for your doggedness. I was a tenant in one of the estates at that Haruk Road back then when the issue started. He said it was started in 2021 and was even at the first meeting you made the complaint. I remember how some other landlords withdrew from the issue. Hearing the outcome on the news yesterday gladdened my heart. Indeed, justice delayed is not justice denied. And meanwhile, I was a customer of the Prof back then at his pharmacy there. Then Prof was a dog. This person really knows you well. Okay, let's take another call now. Akanto is calling from Bori. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear sister. Good afternoon, a dogger.
Okay, you have to call back. Network doing its thing there. So back to WhatsApp or have another message. Please try to send short messages. I'm not wearing my glasses today. I've just been squinting a lot. Donatu Saro Mene Bene Mark Esquire Port Harcourt sent his message. He said it's absurd, scary, and regrettable that the state have no regard for the lives of her citizens. What a country that the regulatory agencies in the petroleum sector could brazenly, even against their own laws, to cite such dangerous and volatile substance in a densely populated area without thinking about the imminent danger it poses to lives and properties. You commended the Prof as well, and then this victory you say is for the Prof and should inspire others to take action against such in their area. I couldn't read everything. It was quite long. Try to keep it short. We have Taylor Harry. He says, please, Choma, if an artisan violates me by not giving me exactly what I discussed with him, which organization is responsible for me to report? Unfortunately, we're not discussing that right now. But I can get you the name at the end of the show. Maybe just keep listening. At the end of the show, I can get you the name and how you can go about it according to what the expert told us in the news. Okay, now go to another message. Another one here from Austin Uju from GRA says, I'm listening to the program on the issue of gas plant. Please, I have someone who has similar problem at the moment. Please, I like to have the lawyer's number. Okay, now. Can you pay? I'm joking. We have a call now. Let's hear from Akanto from Bori. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to once again, my sister. Good afternoon.
Yes.
The guests and lawyers and the doctors in Nigeria. You see, one thing that bedevil most people, some person, is fear to take drastic or take a And it is a precedent. He has made a precedent. So what I want to say now is that the government and relevant agency should take you from or get this document for the court to give a judgment and to make it as a precedent, so that if you a few months ago there was fire inferno from a gas station like this in somewhere or
yes.
on a vehicle, yes, that consumes several lives. And the local government authority of Port Harcourt local government prescribe selling of this inflammatory material products around the residential area. But if you go around that area now, you see people are now coming up to sell gas. Here in both where I reside, if I yesterday I was passing one particular street close to my house, Presigbara, let me mention this. You see a residential area. See where students are cooking, see where they are selling gas. So government, state government, federal government, and local government authority should appreciate this man of taking the bold step. And again, they should get this document and this law and ensure that they domesticate it to give it to our village where we stay. Because gas is a very, my sister, you see when gas it consumes people, it's very inflammatory material, a product, and that can consume a whole community. So I want to thank my brother who did this case and follow it or look at the money spent from the day one and you see the police of Nigeria. You are joining. Look at how many years have been in court. Government agency, government should appreciate this part. If we have a good government, Prof, I want to appreciate you, sir. Prof,
all right.
I appreciate you. And God should stay with you. Thank you and God bless you.
Okay, thank you, Akanto, for calling in. Okay, we'll go back to WhatsApp now. He says, good afternoon, ma. A gas vendor just opened his business in my estate, in our estate. Excuse me. The shop is in a shop building close to a nursery and primary school, and the area is densely populated. I don't know who to report to, since those living close to the vendor are unconcerned. They don't even have a single fire extinguisher. Please help. What should help look like, Barrister?
They should start by meeting a lawyer.
Right.
That is simple, because
not having a conversation with the people that set it up?
Maybe they could, but maybe the people will be insensitive as well.
Okay.
But you could start with a conversation. Oga, what do you do? No good. What's up? What have you done? What is the basis? Do you have your documents? Then if they fail, you have to write it. But a lawyer will guide you through all this.
Okay.
A lawyer would know which agency is needful to be written to, the procedures to follow. It falls squarely within, or you can go to Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Power, Rivers State. Then you can also write to DPO, like in the case of Professor.
That's in this case ND.
Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. They have their office in Lagos. So you can do that formal writing if you have enough education to do that. But if you don't have enough education or leg, at least as Minister of Environment here, you can just make your prayer. Well, if you're not satisfied with what they are doing, my recommendation is that you meet a lawyer.
And perhaps maybe put all of it together, send to them, send a copy to media houses.
Whatever you are doing should be documented.
Yes.
And that is part of the power that we had in this case.
Okay.
Every letter that was written, we documented. Every response that we received, we documented. So when we were going to court, it was easy to bring everything to the attention of the court. In fact, in this age of social media, you can hold discussion on phone and make sure it is recorded. You can do WhatsApp and keep it recorded, the responses, because it will also, eventually when it goes to court, some people will start denying the things they initially admitted or agreed to. So you will need to now furnish the court or the relevant agencies with those replies. So in effect, there is nothing wrong with opening up a conversation with the other party, with the other parties involved. If you have other people that are affected with you, people can come together and...
Classic action of some sort. Okay.
Then you have that discussion. If you're not getting a headway, you talk to an agency. But why is it important to meet a lawyer? Because some of these things have timelines.
Okay.
You understand?
All right. Let's hear from Prof now, Barrister. Final thoughts, because as we wrap up, what do you say to businesses within this sector, or even outside it, who ignore laws or think that, they can cut us around these things?
This case should be an eye-opener in this country, is that a lot of us try to be bystander. Things are going on wrong, and we look the other way. So, if I have a property and I have to quit, And there's a lot of things going on wrong, and I cannot take it. Therefore, means I also am responsible because I was doing it. Businesses, rights,
and take governments. You can take the freedom of governments and agencies. They are not sacrosanct. For example, court in this case clearly made orders against the state governments, the Rivers State government, and also made order against the midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory authority. So courts have power to make orders against if government agencies are doing wrong. So just because it's meant, therefore they can do anything. They can do anything.
Okay, and that's actually where we wrap it up. I wish we can continue. There's so many questions when it comes to this issue and environmental laws.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back. This